In a big castle-like apartment in Chicago, a famous writer gets ready for an interview. Her name's Charlotte and she's a successful writer of a series of books that give relationship advice, based on her own. The previous book was a huge hit and she's promoting her new book in which she talks about how she and her fiancé, Doug, came back from a relationship crisis. Everyone is looking forward to her next hit, and Charlotte's ready to be a best-selling author again. She goes to a TV show to promote the book and talk about her relationship. Her fiancé is there to support her, but he doesn't look very comfortable. Charlotte reads a part of the book in which she says she and Doug fell out of love. She didn't think they could recover from it, but they went back to love after trying hard to salvage the relationship. Doug cringes when he hears her, and he quickly leaves, not bearing to hear her talking anymore. In the meantime, in the wilderness of Minnesota, a man teaches an old lady how to canoe. He isn't very patient, mainly when the woman keeps taking her cell phone to take pictures instead of enjoying the moment. His name's Robin and he's a bitter and reclusive wilderness guide trying to get by with the money he makes. He isn't happy with his life as it is. He loves living in Minnesota and working for his close friends, Mike and Tina, but he despises being a guide for tourists. He thinks the people are disrespectful and mean and he hates it. Not only that, but Robin is a bitter man that spends most of his time alone in his cabin after breaking up with his fiancée. Charlotte and he could not be any more different, but their fates are intertwined. After her interview, Doug asks to talk to Charlotte. He's nervous and she keeps coming up with excuses as to why he can't talk to her. She's doing her photo shoot when he decides to tell her that he doesn't want to be with her anymore. He tried hard to go back to the relationship, but it wasn't meant to be. Charlotte is the perfect woman. She's kind, hardworking, smart, and pretty. Yet, Doug fell out of love with her, and he knew she didn't love him the same either. They were just a convenience, and it shows when Charlotte is more worried about her book than their breakup. Still, Charlotte can't believe Doug did that to her right when she's about to publish her new book. Not only that, but she had a great opportunity to have a TV show to talk about relationships. With her public breakup, and the subject of her book is how to deal with relationships, her publisher suggests she takes a break. They can't publish the book right in the middle of a breakup. It would look ridiculous, mainly for Charlotte. Feeling lost and sad that Doug blindsided her like that, she has no idea what she can do to change her life. Her publisher suggests she finds another subject to write about, but it can't be relationships. That's all that Charlotte knows about, though it's why she became famous. Her friend and assistant, Mallory, decides to take her out so she can relax a little and forget the book and Doug. Meanwhile, Robin is also in Chicago because his father had a bad accident. Not only that, but he and his brother, Ben, find out that his father lost his job and doesn't have any insurance to pay for his surgery. Robin feels bad because he's broke too, and he wants to help his old man. Before he leaves to go back to Minnesota, Ben invites him to go out with him to have a drink. Robin enters an elevator without Ben, and Charlotte does the same. At first, they politely acknowledge the other but don't talk much. The elevator breaks and Charlotte starts freaking out. She's claustrophobic, and it makes her antsy to stay in a closed space with no way out. Robin tries to sympathize, but when she acts a little crazy trying to open the elevator doors, he thinks she's hysterical. With her fancy dress, perfect makeup, and high heels, Robin thinks she's the typical city girl, overreacting for nothing. He calmly calls the front desk to tell them that they were stuck and they solved the issue. Charlotte is clueless about Robin's bad opinion of her, and thanks him profusely. In turn, Robin says that if she kept her mind clear, she could have come up with the same idea. Not one to be talked down to, Charlotte replies that the next time she has a panic attack, she will let her nerves know his opinion. It doesn't make Robin's opinion of her any better. While waiting for the elevator to open, Charlotte asks what he does for a living, thinking he's a doctor because of his clothes. He replies that he's a wildlife guide, something that she wouldn't like as a city girl. Again, Charlotte takes offense to the way he's judging her without knowing her. The elevator opens and they go their separate ways. Charlotte complains to Mallory that she met a wilderness guide that was mean for no reason, and that he treated her like she was crazy. Robin also complains to Ben that he met the typical city girl in the elevator, and that she freaked out for nothing. He's tired of city folks getting on his nerves all the time with their vanity and drama. He wishes he didn't have to deal with any of that in his job or life. While listening to Charlotte ranting about Robin, Mallory has a great idea. She thinks a story uniting a wilderness guide and a city girl would be great. Charlotte loves the idea and even creates the name without thinking much. She wants the book to be about a city girl going into the wild and learning how to survive with the help of a guide. And Robin would be perfect for the position. She quickly approaches him and Ben, introducing herself as Charlotte, the best-selling author of romance books. Neither one of them knows who she is, which makes her look like an attention-seeker celebrity. Not one to be deterred, Charlotte tells Robin of her new book, and that she wants his help. At first, he said no. He can't think of a worse thing than having to guide that woman in the wilderness. She looks rich, vain, entitled, and not a bit outdoorsy. When Charlotte mentions she's willing to pay well, he changes his mind. The next day, Charlotte pitches the idea to her publisher and she loves it. She's even going to announce the next book in an interview. Now, all she has to do is pack her bags and move to Minnesota, where she's going to stay for a month. Robin's friends, Tina and Mike, can't believe he's willing to help a city girl, his nemesis. He explains that he needs the money and that he's sure she isn't going to last. Tina, who is worried about Robin's love life, or lack thereof, wonders if he's into the city girl, but he profusely denies it. She isn't his type at all. He prefers women who take after his lifestyle, living in a small town, surrounded by nature and peaceful life. Charlotte arrives on a boat and brings a bunch of bags with her. She's wearing a cute outfit that doesn't fit the place. When she sees the lake and the forest surrounding it, she finds it beautiful. Robin takes her to the cabin she's staying at. It's rustic with wooden furniture and nothing much. Charlotte doesn't feel as confident as before in the cabin, but she's willing to try it. She's ready to change her lifestyle and be connected to nature. Robin informs her that there's no Wi-Fi in the house and that he left some food in the fridge for her. When he leaves, she notices that the food is a bunch of random vegetables. She tries to cook something, but nothing comes to mind. With nothing else to do, she goes outside to watch the stars, and it's beautiful. While there, she notices that Robin is doing the same in his cabin. She stares at him for a moment, but quickly glances away. Robin also notices her, seeing her enjoying the peace of the night. He doesn't let himself stare too long and goes back to his cabin. The following day, Charlotte is up bright and early. Once again, she wears clothes that aren't made for the activities that she's supposed to do, but she doesn't care. Robin teaches her how to grab the canoe and put it on her back. He thinks she won't be able to do it, but Charlotte easily takes it as if it weighs nothing. Then, while they are in the lake, Robin tries teaching her the movements, but she already knows what to do. For the first time in a long time, if ever, Robin has a person who is interested in learning what he teaches. Charlotte tells him that she studied beforehand, and he figures out she used to be a straight-A student back in the day. Not only that, but she was also a valedictorian. It's incredible to see her at ease in the lake, an activity that is hard for some people. When they finish their first class, Robin tells her that there's going to be a welcome party for her. She's excited and happy that people are being so welcoming to her. It's different from the way people act in the city, where no one cares about the other. She arrives late at the party, though, because she oversleeps after her long day. She introduces herself to Tina and Mike. Tina and she become quick friends, and she tells Charlotte there's a place for her to find more appropriate clothes if she wants. Charlotte quickly accepts. The next day, they go shopping. Charlotte loves to see things that were made by the locals, and she isn't afraid of spending money. She asks Tina why Rob is so quiet and broody, and why he leaves by himself. Tina explains that he used to date another guy, but that she dumped him during their engagement. Charlotte immediately feels sympathy for him, because she knows what it is like to be dumped like that. Tina explains that Rob felt humiliated, and for that reason, he built a wall around his heart. Knowing more about him makes Charlotte understand him better. When Rob next sees her, her cabin is completely different. She bought a bunch of things to redecorate to her taste, and it surprisingly looks good. They go fishing, and Charlotte surprises him again when she says that it's been 10 years since she last went fishing. She explains that she grew up in a small town, with an outdoorsy family that loved nature, and she learned all kinds of things. After graduating from college, she got a job in Chicago and stayed there after the huge success of her book. She loves living in the city, everything is much easier, and there's so much to do. Living in the countryside is good, but it can get boring sometimes. Robin strongly disagrees with her. His life was the opposite. He was born and raised in Chicago but fell in love with nature after his mother passed away. He decided that he wanted a peaceful life, away from the city mess. Charlotte understands the appeal, mainly after going through a stressful couple of weeks with her breakup and book. Their conversation is nice and flows, even though they have different views. Rob begrudgingly admits to himself that he misjudged Charlotte, and that she's a nice person. When she grabs a fish, they celebrate, and Robin even takes a picture of her. Back at Tina and Mike's place, Charlotte notices that Mike seems tense and goes to talk to him. He tells her that their brand new boats were stolen, and they don't have money to buy new ones. She has the bright idea of opening a funding account and advertising it so people can help. Tina and Mike are surprised by her generosity, but for Charlotte, it's the right thing to do. She enjoys helping people and she feels a connection to the place. Robin also feels stupid for thinking she was an airhead and vain. Charlotte kindly showed him that she was resilient and sweet, with a heart the size of the state they were in. His heart starts beating faster when he understands she is beautiful both outside and inside. Later that day, Mallory calls Charlotte to give her some bad news. Doug was seen at Charlotte's friend's party with his new girlfriend, a girl 10 years younger than him. Charlotte feels her heart breaking again, not because she still loved Doug, but because she feels like an idiot. She didn't know their relationship was so bad to the point that he didn't even talk to her before breaking up. Not only that, but he's been dating for weeks, and they recently broke up. It's unbelievable. The following morning, Charlotte decides to take her anger and heartbreak out in a pile of wood that she's chopping. Robin watches her angrily chopping wood and wonders what happened to her. She embarrassedly explains that she found out her ex moved on already, and it makes her sad. Robin, and the rest of the world, think Charlotte broke up with Doug, not the other way around. He sympathizes with her pain, being in a similar situation some time ago. They have an intimate moment when Charlotte explains that she doesn't love Doug anymore, but that the way he did things hurt her. He could have given her more time or at least talked to her before she published her book. After venting to him and listening to his opinion, Charlotte thanks him and he replies that he would do it for any friend. Friend-zoned, she forgets about the flutters in her stomach whenever she talks to Robin. Quickly changing the subject, Charlotte tells him that she has to go back to Chicago to talk to her publisher and invites him to come with her. Tina and Mike also come. They are amazed by her house. Everything is so white and spacious, it's almost impersonal. It's very different from what they are used to in the countryside. Charlotte invites them to have dinner at one of her favorite restaurants, but before, she's going to pamper them. She rents clothes for all of them, making Tina so happy she could barely contain herself. Mike and Robin were also handsome in their suits. Robin even brushed his hair. She hires a spa for her house and they have a relaxing day. Tina is so grateful because she needed to relax a bit. Robin also gets to see Charlotte in her habitat, and it doesn't diminish his infatuation with her. He finds her even more amazing for inviting Tina and Mike and giving them a really nice experience. After the spa day, Charlotte has to meet with her publisher. She loves the first draft of her book, but she thinks adding Robin to it would be even better. Charlotte refuses because Robin asked her to not be included. Robin goes to his father's place to visit, still wearing his fancy suit. His brother and father make fun of him, and how much happier he looks after he met Charlotte. Robin tries to deny there's anything more between them because he's still afraid of opening his heart and breaking it again. His father advises him to go after the girl he wants and to stop being so afraid. His brother agrees. Robin starts thinking if it would be a good idea to date Charlotte. She's great, and it's been a long time since his heart beat faster to another woman. The only issue was figuring out if Charlotte was interested too, and letting go of his insecurities. During dinner, while Tina and Mike are busy taking pictures, Robin has the opportunity to talk to Charlotte. She starts telling him about her new book when someone interrupts them. Charlotte can't believe who it is when she looks. It's Doug with his new girlfriend. He smiles at Charlotte as if he didn't break up with her and almost ruined her entire career. He introduces the girlfriend, and the girl says she's a big fan of Charlotte's books, and that she read them because they were her mother's favorites. Charlotte doesn't know how to act. It's embarrassing and humiliating. Robin comes to her rescue and introduces himself as his boyfriend. Doug, seeing a handsome, tall man next to her, instantly gets curious. He asks what Robin does for a living, and he lies saying that he's the Prince of Norway. Doug can barely contain his disappointment. When he finally leaves, Rob and Charlotte can't stop laughing about the whole situation. Charlotte can't believe Rob came to her rescue like that and made her look good in front of her ex. Robin brushes her off and says that it's okay to not be perfect and that she shouldn't worry so much. She explains that she didn't break up with Doug, it was the opposite. Robin finds her even more relatable. She tells him that she had a bad first impression of him, thinking he was this serious, bitter man, but he's really kind and nice. Rob says that Charlotte was intimidating to him because she was so successful and seemed to have her life under control. They laugh and joke some more before things get serious again. Charlotte tells him that he should go back to dating. While she says that, she touches his chest and fixes his tie with delicate touches. Before Robin can ask her on a date, Tina and Mike interrupt. They smile at each other and go inside the restaurant again. Dinner is great. They talk a lot and have a lot of fun together. When they arrive back at Charlotte's place, Robin really wants to kiss her, but he holds back again. He feels unsure and afraid of giving too much of himself. The next day, Charlotte goes to a meeting with the TV network representative. She's excited about her book becoming a TV show. It's another step in her career and she's ready for it. The only problem is that the TV network got her book wrong. They think the idea is for Charlotte to go to places in the countryside and give people a makeover. He uses her friends as examples, including Rob. Charlotte is horrified. It's nothing like she imagined, and the man doesn't even give her a chance to explain that is wrong. He says he's going to send her the contract for her to look at, and her friends could be the first characters to appear. Charlotte doesn't know what to do. She can't believe people could treat others so badly and insult them based on their appearance only. Her view is confirmed when she meets her closest friend, and she laughs at her when she gives her a gift she bought in Minnesota. Suddenly, Charlotte can see the ugliness of the people around her. How self-centered and arrogant they were in contrast with the people she recently met in Minnesota. It's ridiculous and makes her question things about her life. When they go back after their trip, Charlotte and Robin get closer to each other. When they are fishing again, Charlotte thanks him for being her guide. He explains that she was a great tourist, different from most people who hire him. The reason why he doesn't like his guide job anymore is that people from the city are insufferable. Charlotte is surprised that he dislikes it so much, but he explains that he can't stop working like that because it's his main source of income. He needs the money, and it also helps Tina and Mike. The following day they are planning to go for a week away from civilization, but they won't be going alone. Mike and Tina are going to help too. Robin needs to make a move quickly before she goes back to the city and he stays. At night, while they are partying, Charlotte invites Robin to dance. At first, they dance goofy and have a lot of fun laughing at each other. Then, a slow dance starts and they are like two awkward teenagers. Charlotte approaches Robin and he holds her against him. While they dance, Charlotte comments that she can't believe time passed so quickly and she was going to leave. Robin wonders if she's looking forward to going back to her life, but she isn't. She likes Robin and she's going to miss him when she leaves. Besides, Tina and Mike became her friends, and the place is great. She never thought she would enjoy it, but she did. Robin wants to confess his feelings for her, and he's almost there when he loses his courage again. Instead, he says that Tina really likes her, and Charlotte replies she likes her too. They aren't talking about Tina, but their own feelings towards each other. Their chemistry is amazing. They would make a beautiful couple. Charlotte lies down on Robin's chest and he hugs her closely while they dance. Later on, Tina decides to give Robin a push. She tells him he needs to stop hiding his feelings and confess to Charlotte once and for all. She thinks the best time to do it is before they go on the week-long isolated trip. Robin finally agrees. The next day, he goes after Charlotte and nervously invites her to meet him later in the lake. With the help of Tina, he prepares a boat ride with a picnic basket filled with delicious food and a bottle of champagne. Charlotte is shocked and confused when she sees it. Robin doesn't tell her that it's a date, he only says that he wants to celebrate her accomplishments. As they row to the middle of the lake to watch the sunset, Charlotte notices how skittish and nervous Robin is. She wonders if he's okay and he finally confesses his feelings to her. He says that he regrets the way he judged her before and that she's kind, sweet, and generous. He really likes her and he felt that he needed to tell her before she left. Otherwise, he would have regretted not taking the chance. Charlotte is speechless and shocked. She knew Robin was infatuated with her, but she didn't think it was that much. When he starts freaking out because she's silent, she holds his hand and admits she likes him too. Robin breaks into a smile and the rest of their picnic is less awkward. They are holding hands when they go back, but Robin doesn't kiss her when he has the chance. Charlotte is really happy that she had a perfect date with a guy like Robin. She can't wait to see what happens. While she's celebrating, she receives an email that sours her mood. It's the contract from the TV network, with pictures of her friends and Robin, insulting them. She tells Mallory she isn't going to accept it. It's mean and rude to her friends. Mallory agrees. The following day, Charlotte makes breakfast for Robin, Tina, and Mike before their journey. While she leaves to get ready for the day, she leaves her laptop behind. When she receives a message, Tina curiously looks at it and finds the contract badmouthing them and treating them as if they were wild animals needing to be tamed. It hurts them deeply, especially Robin and Tina. Robin can't believe Charlotte played them like that, and that they all fell for it. When Charlotte comes back and notices what happened, she tries to explain but Robin doesn't listen to her. She goes after Tina, but she also doesn't want to talk to her. As her last resort, she goes after Robin again, explaining what happened and that it wasn't her idea. Robin believes her, but he's still feeling sore about it and tells her that they wouldn't work anyway. They have completely different lifestyles. Heartbroken and sad that yet another thing in her life didn't work, Charlotte leaves. Back in Chicago, she tells her publisher that her book isn't about making people over. It's about how much she changed after she met the local people, and how great of an experience it was. Her publisher tells her she needs to write that, and Charlotte is determined to do so. She spends the following days writing and finishing her book. When it's over, she sends a copy over to Robin, Tina, and Mike, hoping that they are going to see her real view of them. Robin reads it and feels bad. He likes Charlotte, but he keeps wondering if they are going to work. Tina gives him the push he needs to follow after her and be happy. Unbeknownst to them, Charlotte is also ready to go after Robin and make him hear her out. She packs her bags and, together with Mallory, they go to Minnesota. Robin is almost leaving to take the flight to Chicago when she arrives. They finally meet again and Charlotte apologizes. Robin brushes her off because he knows it wasn't her fault. He says he wants to be with her no matter what, and that he would move to Chicago if it's necessary. She says that they should try 50-50 and see how that works, and he agrees. They kiss and finally make up. Mallory receives some good news that interrupts them. Charlotte's book is so successful that another TV network wants to turn it into a TV show. Charlotte has an idea of how it's going to work, and they start shooting in Tina and Mike's little resort. Charlotte and Robin couldn't be any happier than they are now that their dreams became true.